I was listening to Piyush Goyal, the Commerce Minister, and he had this whole itemized list, and he says that this is the time to celebrate, and we have not done anything that will put the Indian farmer at a disadvantage. Then why is the Congress Party opposing this?
Good afternoon. First, let me start by saying that any trade deal is a good thing for India's economy. India needs more trade, India needs free trade, and if anything, over the last decade, we saw a bout of protectionism in Modinomics. So I'm glad that there has been a U-turn on that front. Now, I have not seen the press conference that you're referring to because it just happened, but from what I have read about the details of the deal, what is unclear are certain details of the deal. Now, let me just give you one example. One of the details of the deal is that India is committed to buy $500 billion worth of American goods over the next 5 years. 500 billion over 5 years. So roughly 100 billion a year. Today, we buy 40 billion from America. How is it going to double or triple? What are we going to buy extra? How is this commitment made? Are we going to shift our purchases from some other country to this? And most importantly, if we have committed to buy $500 billion worth of, what have they committed to buy from us? Okay. Where is the commitment from their side? So any trade deal is good. It's good as long as it's mutually beneficial, what they say in corporate jargon, a win-win situation. Yeah. And we're not sure that this is yet a win-win for both India and America.
But Mr. Chakravarty, at least this could be a diplomatic win, right? The fissures that we saw with the US, the most powerful country in the world, are finally settling in.
See, I can't comment on a diplomatic win because I'm not a diplomat, I'm an economist by training. I'm only asking, like I said, I started by saying a trade deal is a good thing. We welcome trade deals. We want greater trade. We want more exports. But what is it that we're doing here? We need greater transparency. We need more details. And this is too serious a subject for us to just go by headlines. We actually have to delve into the details. And as they say, the devil is in the details. So for example, what are we doing with Russian oil? Are we not going to buy Russian oil? If that's the case, are we going to get it at the same price as cheap Russian oil? Because I remember the oil minister, Hardeep Puri, back then had made such a bombastic claim about how it is in nation's interest to buy Russian oil. Now, what happened to that?
Mr. Rao, the fact that, we might lose the trade surplus that we have with US, that seems to be a concern.
Good afternoon to you and Praveen and all the attendees. We are looking at a $30 trillion export opportunity. The deal has taken this far, even to come to this stage, because India and under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we stood our ground. Had we so-called yielded to pressure, a deal would have happened long ago. India has finally agreed to this deal based on our terms, based on protecting our interests of our farmers, our MSME sector. These are paramount. And this happens after we have signed several other bilateral trade agreements, including the trade agreement with the European Union. So all that has actually resulted in we getting a very positive deal with the US. And had this not taken this long, had India not prevailed over the US, it could have happened a long time ago. Certainly it's a deal in Indian interest. It's a deal that will help us realize our goals of Viksit Bharat. It's a deal that will help us this trilogy that Finance Minister mentioned in the budget, where we are looking at impetus to growth as one of the three major pillars of our economic policy. So certainly it's a great deal. And its deal protects our interests and also boosts our growth. I think Indian exporters have a lot of good news to cheer about today's development.
Mr. Chakravarty, two questions. This non-tariff barriers is being talked about, because it will bring down delays and compliance. And of course, the fact that, the deal is finally done, So what about the non-tariff barriers and the fact that the government is very clear that interests have been shielded? Do you think that those are positives?
See, as far as the non-tariff barriers are concerned, specifically around quality control orders in the textile sector, I think the finance minister announced it in the budget. The chief economic advisor had it in his economic survey, and that's a good thing. The abolition, because I've held that the imposition of non-tariff barriers was wrong in the first place. So now if they have learned from that and then removed it, it's a good thing. We keep going back to protection of farmers, and this is in the India's interest. I would like to believe that. I want to believe that. I want to believe that this is good for us, good for the country. Where are the details?
Okay.